St. Mary's.
His best offensive showing of the year after he was an all-MAC selection last year. 10 on the shot clock, the sidewinder off the crossbar, the second chance bounces in, and Manhattan is ready to play. Jasper's the 1-0 lead. Heiner missed the first go-around, but the captain cashes in on the second chance. And Manhattan 1-0 with 6.5 to go in the first.
What a play here by Heiner. Hits this one off the pipe. Gets his own rebound. You're gonna see him put this back in. Athletic play from Heiner, the captain for the Jaspers.
1-0 Manhattan. Waning minutes of the first quarter, and the Orange need momentum if they want to avoid one of the biggest upsets of a college lacrosse season. Racing towards the near side of the crease, but Leo stuffed. Good slide from Manhattan, specifically Andrew Giattano. Hiltz rips a wild shot off his hip, and it's high into the left.
The Syracuse offense is going to turn to guys like Owen Hiltz, fifth-year leader, one of those best offensive players. He's got to get Syracuse out of this little slump.
In the midst of the best season of his career. BTB, and that's how the Orange get out of their funk. Spallina to Trey Deer, and he does that plenty. 1-1, just under a minute into his second quarter.
Trey Deer getting the start on attack in place of Finn Thompson. I was talking about this earlier. Syracuse needs to get the ball from X back up above the cage. Spallina does a good job working this matchup. Trey Deer catches this, improves his angle by going behind the back here, wrapping it around Manhattan defenseman. Beats Howard.
Hey, Grace, before he became an All-American long pole at the D3 level with RIT, he started out at attack as a freshman with the Tigers, so he can certainly handle it.
What I was saying earlier, if Syracuse continues to play 5v5, that's going to limit Manhattan's ability to get into his zone, so we'll look for that off the face-off, how much Mullen stays out there.
Faking the step down, and now the spinning jump shot. No dice for Roa, but the Orange now playing two behind the cage. On the shot clock, and a snipe into the bottom right from Spallina. And the Orange with their first lead in this low-scoring battle.
Syracuse goes into the open set, which they did a little bit against Hopkins, having those two players behind. They get this ball around the perimeter. Here's Spallina screaming one more. Just sticks this one low to low. He changes that up early. So it'd have to be Brett Kennedy. He wore 11 for Syracuse. He's one of the most physical players and just has a relentless motor.
Couldn't miss him either, but Ginger. Great player back in the day. Ian Nicholas alongside Stephen Rafis, former Orange All-American. As Syracuse leads Manhattan 2-1. Luke Roa, Hiltz, back to Leo on the run, and another stop, but not a second one. Trey Deer, he has been lurking on the crease all night, and another goal for the sophomore.
That's what it might take tonight for the Syracuse Orange, playing against Hapward. Syracuse going against this zone. Hiltz goes against the grain. Leo gets a good shot. Hapward commented earlier he was catching a lot of the saves, gives up a little rebound here. Manhattan just has to make sure that they're boxing out there. Heads up play by Deer. He's got some of the best hands on the team. You'll see him grab that here. And Hapward actually almost had that. Nice defense. And here's where they have to take care of the ball. We talked about Dupree a little bit off camera earlier. He's a guy, second leading scorer, 66 in black. Got to get the ball through him.
Back in the upstate area too, originally from Elmira in the southern tier. Obviously a lot of local talent on this Manhattan squad as they make their trip up from the Bronx. A little bit of trouble for the Jaspers in front of the cage, but the ball popped free, and that's what this team needs if they want to pull off a stunner. Jack Miller caught the lob and slammed it home. Manhattan back within one.
Jack Miller taking advantage of a ball just bouncing his way. Right place, right time. Manhattan had forced the crease a little bit. O'Connor not able to handle it. Good crash by Roa and Juan. Ball just pops to Miller. He's able to beat McCool low. Manhattan.
The lowest amount the Orange had allowed in any game in 5 years.
Another thing I think Manhattan's doing a good job of is getting back in transition. They're really not letting Syracuse push transition, push odd numbers. They've been getting all those guys in. Even off the faceoff, you're seeing them play super defensive, just getting everyone back. Not looking to give up any easy goals. They're going to trust their 6v6 defense.
I mean, Syracuse is the perfect 7 for 7 on the draw. Perfect 9 for 9 on the clear. Just fundamentally, like you said, Manhattan's doing its job. Spallina to McCarthy, and he puts it in. Just the second goal all season for the sophomore is Spallina trying to give Syracuse some separation.
This is exactly the zone look that I was talking about from Syracuse. They dodge from up top, get this ball back to Spallina, and just flash hard with these cuts. Tyler McCarthy, he set that pick for Cortez because he does a good job of timing up the cut. You know, as Spallina right above the cage, it's going to be tough to sneak it past him. So that's something else to consider here as Syracuse just gets more and more shots.
Hey, you don't end up in the top 10 in the country for points if you don't have great vision, and Joey Spallina certainly has that. Always had over his 3 years with the Orange. Deer across the field to Spallina as the Orange have won all 8 faceoffs in this game, but still just a 2-goal game. That one snuck by Hapward, and it's now a 3-goal affair thanks to Michael Leo.
I was about to compliment the Manhattan defense. They've been sliding here pretty early, forcing the ball out of the Syracuse offensive player's hands. Leo just able to get a nice dodge here to his right hand. Sneak this one past Hapward. I believe near side, Hapward got a piece.
Good yourself when you know you can get it done, but it's just not clicking.
Honestly, I think the key is to not overthink it, right? Just remember you've been playing this game your whole life. Look back at some other goals that you've scored. Give yourself confidence, whatever it takes. But ultimately, if you're overthinking it, you know, that ball's not going to get in the back of the net. You're not going to play that well.
Leo, All-American as a sophomore last season, former 5-star recruit out of Nassau County, St. Anthony's product. He knows he can get it done. Deer again, off a great feed from X. Those two, Spallina and Deer, starting to take over. 6-2 Orange as they're going on a run in this second quarter.
Feel a little bit bad here for Matthew Pantorno, 21 in black. Makes a nice play, a little nice back check on Trey Deer. Ends up almost checking this ball into the goal. It's a nice cut there by Deer. Has a good angle when he does catch it.
You see, it's been his world.
He's a beast of an athlete. He's just been automatic tonight. Coach Gate was highlighting him. All he said is not a guy that you ever have to worry about. We always know he's doing the right thing. Takes the weight room very seriously. His preparation, trains like a pro. He's a guy that's going to have a really, really successful career here. Only a sophomore.
Came in with some promise, top 70 recruit according to Inside Lacrosse. Ooh. And that's a former 5-star showing just how good he is. And Luke Roa off his left hip, finding the upper right corner. And Connor Hapward struggling a bit here in this second quarter after he was lights out in the first.
I think Hapward's going to want these last 2 shots back. He gets a piece of them. We're seeing Luke Roa back here, able to shoot righty and lefty on the run. Probably the best offensive player for Syracuse in terms of shooting on the run.
Syracuse really needs to start getting this man up into gear.
Yeah, we're going to see Greg Elijah Brown, 46 in white. He is now on this man-up unit with the absence of Finn Thompson. Very crafty inside box player. Watch for him.
Yeah, they breed those kind of guys in Ontario, where the sophomore is from. His only career goal against Manhattan. Owen Hiltz, he scored plenty of goals, but he rings that one off the pipe.
Hiltz and Leo with a little hidden ball trick.
Sidewinder to score. There is Michael Leo, sniping in his second goal of the night, and the Orange cash in on the advantage. 6-goal lead for the Cuse. Just under a minute to play in this first half.
Michael Leo goes low to low here to that low left corner. That's a nice shot on a lefty goalie. Talked earlier about adding some deception. It's a pretty hard save for Hapward. Leo back in the scoring column.
And back to doing what he does. You just mentioned it a few minutes ago, Steven. Some shooting woes in the first half of the season for Michael, but not anymore.
Yeah, Michael Leo's a stud. He really is one of the best midfielders in the country, in my opinion. You know, he's been a go-to guy, especially in big games for them throughout his career. So a little bit of a slower start than I guess he probably would have wished for to start off his junior year. But with what we've been seeing from him tonight and against Hopkins, would expect him to pick that up a little bit as we get into the second half of the season.
15 goals for Leo.
Ooh.
Bad pass for the Orange and Figueres, but somehow O'Connor can't pot it. A gift for Manhattan off the restart. And that's just been the second quarter for the Jaspers. They've been outscored by 7, and they've only scored once.
You don't see Riley Figueres make many errors like that. Can't be throwing that ball into the middle of the field.
Well, Syracuse wants to make sure it doesn't make any more errors, so Gary Gate calls for a timeout, little under half a minute to go in this first half. And what a much-needed response for this team after one of, if not the worst quarter all year in the first. They have responded in every way possible here in the second.
Yeah, credit the Syracuse players. I think Coach March had them in really good sets. They were doing the right stuff in that first quarter. Just felt like the players weren't really settling in or taking advantage of the opportunities they were getting, but that's a nice showing from the Syracuse offense in the second quarter.
Hey, somebody who's taken advantage, Steven, in this game specifically is Trey Deer, arguably the most productive game of his young career. Just an assist. Hiltz trying to prove me wrong, but he rings one off the net. Second chance at a score for the Orange as a flag flies. Taking advantage out of that timeout. And the snipe from Sam English. Who else but the grad student Mitty? Still got to see what the call is. Presumably on Manhattan. With just seconds to go in this first half.
Hey, what the fuck happened? Check. Indirect contact to the head. 1 minute. Non-releasable. Man down face.
Still 9-2 Orange after Loudon Sheehan committed that cross-check.
Owen Hiltz went hard to his left hand, runs through that check, puts that one off the pipe, and just a heads-up play here from Sam English. Not only does he corral that ground ball, recognizes that Hapward's out of cage, sneaks a goal in there, his first of the night.
Hey,
shots on goal.
Thanks, Sean. Well, his Manhattan team is gonna have to play a little more defense, as there is no face-off to start the third quarter. A non-releasable penalty to end the second quarter on Manhattan awards the Orange the ball. And they're man up for half a minute. Roa rings one off the pipe. A bullet from the far alley, backed up by Greg Elijah Brown, who you pointed out, now a featured part of this man-up group with Finn Thompson out. BTB from Leo. Deer one more. And Johnny on the spot. Greg Elijah Brown. 2 career goals, both against Manhattan.
Greg Elijah Brown making his way onto this man up. He's the beneficiary of some great ball movement by the Syracuse man up. Owen Hiltz playing point on this man up top. Syracuse moving this ball down the alley, throwing some behind the back, some skip passes, some one more. That's some very unself
on his collegiate career. A lot of time and space for Roa. Could not put it in.
I think Roa shot that one from about 16 yards out.
That was a crow hop and a half.
It's a confident shot against a hot goalie.
15 saves for Hapward. English directing traffic. Leo shakes a man off and scores. That corner was hammered, and Leo has a hat trick.
Both Sam English and Michael Leo showing off their athleticism here. English draws an easy slide, and then Michael Leo just goes to work on this left wing. You know, he thought about this shot to start, hitches a little bit, gets this nice rollback, improves his angle. And I'm not sure Hapward could really see that one, shoots it around the screen. That's a nice take from Leo, and a good job.
Specialist ripped his 6th shot of the season, couldn't put it in.
Not sure Hapward ever even saw that, just hit him in the helmet. Dislodged his helmet buckle there for a second. Billy Dwan puts a lot of pace on that ball.
The college lacrosse world learned that the hard way last year when Dwan, as a long pole, scored 8 goals, 3rd most in a single season for a Syracuse D-man.
He's got great hands, great feel for the game. His IQ stands out. Exceptional.
So does Joey Spalina's. Wrapping around and finding the upper left corner. Multiple goals and assists for Joey on the night. Nothing is new for number 22. Largest lead of the game for Syracuse, 12-2, after number 22 does his thing midway through this 3rd quarter. Up the Jaspers in the ground ball department. Running shot for Deere. Couldn't put it in, but somehow Spalina comes up with it.
I don't love that shot from Roa, a little bit far out on a really hot goalie.
Roa, 7 shots, just 1 goal tonight. Half spin and almost a score for Leo. Tied for the team lead in goals with 3 alongside Deere on the game.
Leo looks like he's getting some of that confidence back.
Sneaking it into the bottom left. How did Sam English do that? Quickly off the restart, the orange catch the Jaspers sleeping. 13-2 Cuse.
Sam English does a good job recognizing kind of this 2v1 off ball, calls for the ball from Spalina. And Sam English, he likes to go underneath. He's a right-handed player, but you'll constantly see him underneath, and he'll finish with that stick to the middle, that right hand.
What they have for next year, and a lot of the younger guys. Anderson jump shot. Couldn't bounce it into the bottom right corner, and O'Farrell on mop-up duty again.
These players are getting almost a full quarter out here. Showcase why they deserve a chance to play, and also for years to come. A lot of these guys on the field right now are on the younger side, freshmen and sophomores.
The elder statesman, Cortez, finding one of those younger players who puts it in. Wyatt Hoddle, the sophomore, with the snipe to make it a 12-goal orange lead. Hoddle, his 3rd goal in 3 games after scoring a couple on the road against Utah.
Cortez doing a good job here. He's a senior out here playing with some freshmen and sophomores. Dodges hard, comes over the top, makes a nice look. Over to Wyatt Hoddle, who's made his way onto the 2nd line this year. And as we get into April and obviously July 1, when some of it goes into effect.
The Syracuse Athletic Director John Wildhack already announcing the Orange are opting in. 30 on the shot clock.
See Owen O'Farrell here, he'll operate at X, pushing that right and left side, playing the quarterback role out here right now for this Syracuse offense.
Well, this offense continues to roll in the 4th quarter. Peyton Anderson, one of those highly touted freshmen from right in front. He got pushed into the crease, and that should be a flag on Manhattan, and the goal should stand, making it 15-2. We'll get it confirmed in just a moment. If it stands, that is the 4th goal in Anderson's young career. first since the Utah game.
Flag 29, push. Goal is good, flag is waved, face off.
So Matthew Query was the one who committed that contact, but it didn't matter.
This is a really high IQ play here. Peyton Anderson sneaks off ball to this back pipe. Tyler McCarthy, really difficult feed, throwing that across the crease. Credit Anderson for keeping those feet out, being poised, finishing that on the backside. Really nice play there from Tyler McCarthy and Peyton Anderson.
McCarthy is 4th helper of the year, and Anderson, originally from downstate Hopewell Junction, his 2nd goal in the last 3 games. Largest lead of the night for the Orange. Jaziel Rivera on for the faceoff for Manhattan. It leads to a scrum, a shot, and a score. Anderson back-to-back for number 88. You don't draw it up like that, Steven, but you'll take it.
Players have to make plays. I believe we saw Paul LaMonica out here, 20 in white for Syracuse. Rivera not able to pick up this ground ball, and Anderson just does a good job staying active. Like, he's got a nice...
Going to take the mantle for the biggest brand in all of college lacrosse.
I like Kashawn Hunter's game. Anytime he's really stepped on the field this year, he's done a good job dodging aggressively. He had his own shot. Tucker Kellogg, another guy, you just saw him shoot that 40 in white here. He's got one of the hardest shots on the team, maybe the country. He was on man up a little bit last year as a freshman. Hasn't been able to crack that lineup this year, but a guy that can definitely make his way back there by the time his career's over.
Kellogg again towards the middle for Deere, and that's a proven commodity. A career night for Deere, his 4th goal, and the 4th for the Orange in this strong 4th quarter. 17-2. The young Bucks getting some run. And Trey Deere, the veteran of this group, slotting it in midway through the final frame.
2020, we got them back good, though, I have to say.
Hey, you finished on top. That's all you can say. That's all you can control. Ian Nicholas alongside former Syracuse All-American Stephen Rafis. And that Colgate game on Saturday starts an absolute gauntlet to end the end of the regular season for the Orange, where 5 of their final 6 opponents all ranked, and the only unranked one is a perennial power, usually in Virginia.
That's why you come to Syracuse.
Well, these young guys are starting to get a taste of SU lacrosse. Owen O'Farrell, just the 2nd goal of his freshman season.
Owen O'Farrell, I've been highlighting him as a quarterback here. Gets a matchup change and just goes to work on this wing. Does a good job coming low, then gets back to that strong right hand. And this shot